Welcome to Factorio Masterclass. My name is Nilaus, and we are here on Volcanus, where we just in the previous episode built this quality hub so we can get some rare quality items. And I've made some few additions, like extra things, and also down here in the hub I've removed some of the things that weren't really necessary, and those are of course updated in the blueprints, which is available to patron supporters. But we're not going to do this. We are going to move into space now, because with this going, we should be starting to head towards AQUILO. Because on AQUILO, or the reason why we wanted to do this before AQUILO, is that we need actually, well, quite a lot of... where might you be? You might be here. Let's get out of this mode. Yeah, we need a lot of long-handed inserters, fast long-handed inserters, because we need a lot of long-handed inserters. We just need a lot of quality stuff going into AQUILO. So having this one chug along and just make all the stuff for us is brilliant. And that's just going there. So what I want to do now is I want to get us a ship that can take us safely to AQUILO, use it as servicing AQUILO. I'm going to set up the logistics for that as well as prepare us for the first journey there. So if that sounds interesting, then sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We're going to start by going to space. So the thing is, when we go to AQUILO, the first thing to look at, no, is not AQUILO itself, but actually the tooltip here. The solar panel in space is only 60%. So relying on solar at AQUILO is definitely feasible, but it's not really, it's not advantageous to do that. On top of that, we are also getting on the journey out here. We're starting to see some big metallic. So that means there are two things that we need to do that's different from the inner planet ships, these medium freighters. We need to have another kind of power, which is nuclear power, and we need to have rockets shooting bigger asteroids. So that means we can't use this design, but we're going to use some part of the design because there's some really good merits to it. The thing is also that these ships here are the medium ones we built in the previous episode. They're really good at sort of flying back and forth, and they don't have a lot of storage here. I mean, they have, how many storage? 400 storage, 400 stacks of storage. But we need something more. So we also need more storage because it's going to go on a bigger journey and therefore go more rarely. And therefore it has to be able to carry more. So we're going to start by doing something like this. We're going to do like the basic design is pretty much what we've done many times before, which means that we're going to start by having a line out here. And is that even a good place to have it? Yes, I think so, because I need 3 out here, and you will go to that side. So this is kind of a given, and therefore we can then do this, and we can also probably do the same thing on the other side. Let's get more. There you go. So this will get us more, and then we can even do this part as well. Good. And then that will be going up, and that'll be going down. Good. So now we sort of have something here, and I'd actually like to have somewhat the same thing on the other side, but I know that's not really gonna be working. So let's have a look at this. This is 36. Yeah, that's gonna be way more. Let's start with the power, because the power is going to be, I think, the most essential part of what is different here. So we're gonna have to take, oops, that was not you but me. We're gonna need to take a nuclear power plant in here, and that will be built one away. And there are now 2 overlaps. So that means I can feed it in and I can take it out. And of course, technically the filter doesn't need to be here, but let's keep it like this. This is going to be filtered by looking at the temperature and then setting the temperature here. Enable when the temperature is less than 600. Oh, 6,000, that's a little bit much. There we go. So this means that when the temperature is less than 600, we are importing power into this. So this needs to, we're going to have to kill some of this as well. This will now need to go in and be used for something. And the thing is, like you can see that we on Volcanus, we're building higher quality items, but I'm not using higher quality items. The reason why is because I want to build it in a minimalistic way so that I don't force you to have a lot of higher quality things. So I'm going to use uncommon quality solar panels and uncommon quality asteroid collectors, because that's the baseline of the least you need. Anything more than that is just better. So of course, if you have better stuff, use better stuff. But I'm just gonna say, with that, it should be doable. So that's just a note, because I don't want to force you into having something that is a little bit too cumbersome here. So I'm gonna build 4 of these. Each of these are maximum consumption 10 megawatt of power, which is, this one is building 40. So this is an even match. And then we're going to be dragging it out here. So that is the simple part. Now we need to figure out how many out here. Let's build the spaceship a little bit bigger. Yeah, and not that one. Good. So the next one is the turbines. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we do 1 more on this side and 1 more on this side. 2 more on this side, right? So if we look at this part, this is producing 40 megawatt, which is pretty close to the 40 megawatt of heat coming in. So this is a pretty good ratio here. So you can see that we are using slightly more, but that's fine. So this is as close as we can call it a perfect ratio. And then we just need to make sure that these are connected so that the heat generated here will also go into the other ones. Easy. Now I would like to have a little bit of storage energy or storage water, so we can actually do that over here. That also, probably not that one. Definitely not that one. And then over here we need to get some production of water inbound. And that's going to be for here. That's going to be water from ice. And that just goes in here. This is producing 20 water, and I needed to produce more water. There. That will now be producing 40 water, which is exactly what it needs. 10.3. Yeah, it's close enough. You can put 3 in here, but let's do it like this. Good. All right. So this one should be working if we just happen to get some fuel in here. That one. Oh. There we go. It has to be like this. There you go. So now that starts heating up, we just need some water here. But if we have this one going in here, this belt that I'm drawing here is the asteroid belt. It will be carrying asteroids, and it will carry also ammunition. So with that being done here, then we can actually just put... I think we need to just... It will be asteroids on the inside. So I'm going to take you in. I'm going to take you out. And filtering. This is very templated. And that has to be like this, because outputting and then going in on the same side. That will be just the ice asteroids. And then you're going to be feeding in here. Good. So now that works. Except we still need a little bit of power to, even though this one is increasing, then it's actually working. No, it's not working because we don't have water. So we do need to have a little bit of water coming in here before it actually works. I can just do that. There we go. But it still won't work because it needs some solar panels. So let's get some solar panels. I am always using this here. There we go. And I'm just going to make those down here, just so that it actually can get going. There we go. That should be enough to get this going, and this one will just slowly heat up, so we should get some power going. Cool. Let's move on up to the top part, because I like building the top part first, because the lower part will be power, which we've already taken care of, and it'll be the fuel. So up front it's going to be a little bit more complicated. This will be where we are going to do all of our ammo production. So let's build some space up here for it. There. And also sort of the defenses of the ship. So I don't know how big it's going to be, but let's start like this. Right, so what is it we want to make? We want to make... maybe we should get some of these in here. And also some collectors. Stick out a little bit. The reason why they do this is because if I do like this, and... So 1, 1, and 1. I think that should be fine. And then you can go up here. Okay, so it needs to be bigger. There. Okay, so up here up front, let's get You. And then all of this will also just be flipped over on the other side. So this will be the baseline. Good. And now we need to design up front what the front is going to look like. You are going to be... I think I can do it here instead. Right. Because then I can do here, and you can go there, and the same on this side. There we go. That works. And then we have some front collection. And then we need just some defenses up front. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to do the same thing up here. There. That will be basically the setup. And this will be stack overriding stack 6. The reason why I set this to lower stack size, and also these two here, is because otherwise they will tend to empty this, and then I get a warning that I'm running out of ammo, even though I'm not running out of ammo. So this should be good. We're kind of missing a little detail, and that little detail is going to be our rockets. So let's just squeeze some rockets in on the inside here. And that is going to be rocket turrets. We don't need a lot. Oh, these will not be higher quality. Can you be built here? You can be built like this. Oh, yes. Good. And then 1, 2, oops, 3, 4. Hold on. Like this. Oh, that's brilliant. So this is basically our defenses. And that should take care of all of it. So for example, we need to make sure ignore other targets. You are going to be attacking... Where is it? Where are they? There, they are, of course. Big. And big. And big. There you go. And that copies to the other ones. This one will be attacking all the small ones. But nothing else. And then ignore rest. And that also gets copied out into all of it. There. Good. So now notice. Oh, look at that little grabber. That's so funny. They couldn't grab it. Okay. Never mind. So this is our defenses. We have 1, 2, 8. 1, 2, 8. 8 of these and a lot of guns. Perfect. Now what we need to do is start working on the inside of this. What are we actually going to build? We are going to build some setup here. So I think we need to build 2. Or I do need... No, we need to build 2 here. And that goes into a single box, which I am going to place here, I guess. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Okay. This will be just the normal ammo. We're going to use yellow ammo. We don't want to use anything else, even though we can. Let's start like this part. Good. And you're going to be outputting, and it's going to be outputting on one side. And let's see if... Yes. Here. And these will be on the outside of the belt. So let me filter. And this one will be there somehow. Good. That will be the rockets on that side. And then I'm going to get these two here. And they will be monitoring the entirety of the belt. So this one will be a read all of the belts. And then it's going to be filtered. It doesn't need to be filtered, but it just looks better. And then I'm going to say when this one is less than, I don't know, 600 maybe. Maybe that's too much. Oh, right. Here's the thing. That would actually, since we have been to AQUILO, or so we have been to Gleba, then we might as well do it like this. This will then be rockets, and then do rockets there, less than 600. That should be fine. So that will take care of this part. Now we just need to get something inbound here. These two are producing 7.5. You are consuming 5. So getting this one up in speed might be a little bit nicer, but I also think that we need to rely a little bit on beacons as well. like, even though beacons are a little bit problematic, I guess. Can we build? All right, let's build something else along the lines here. Let's get this one going here. This will be there. So that will go in and all the way over and then jump. Oops. There. So you're building this part, and let's get this all the way out towards the edge because we're going to need it. There you go. So that's all the way onto the edge. So now what does this need? This needs iron ore and it needs calcite. So let's build calcite up here. Yeah, they have to be built at this distance here because I need to make sure that the residual here, the residual oxide is actually going out on the inside belt. So that would be sort of like this. This one would then import it in here. And we'll just mark this so we know what's actually going on. There, that's the water, and this is the ice. And the ice is also going to be used. That's going to be used in this one. And you can go up here and you will be just the normal ice. Good. And they're going to be bringing it inbound, and then I absolutely need to make sure. Yeah, I'm just making this one up here so that I can grab it because we need ice, we need water for the explosives. And therefore we just might as well make it here and then we can get it down here later on. But this is a nice setup. It will get some of this one eventually. Oh, and let me just mark that. And you're going to say only enable when ice in here is 0. Like that. Then it will go in here. And these should just be slow. They don't need to be fast. Producing 20. That should be fine. But it'll go here. Cool. So the other side is here. That will be only the iron part. And that should also be easy. Let's take this. Oh, let's take this. Yeah. And the iron goes in. Good. Let's see if that works. Okay, you got some calcite, so that should be working here. Great. Okay, so that takes care of the ammo. The normal ammo, I think. This one needs to be a little faster. Then the next thing we want to do is actually set up the more difficult part, and that's the the rocket production. So the rocket production is in... First we have to make it as explosives. So let's get explosives here. Right. So that... I'm kind of thinking I need something... Something here. Could I do this? I really want to do this, and that would be the sulfur, and then I'm gonna get... This is something we built before. You go sulfur in here. And then this will be sulfur in here as well. Yeah, this is so weird. This is such a weird build, but I've done it before, so this is why I can confidently build it like this. And that will be making... Here. That's going to be the coal synthesis. And these can be moduled, but this cannot be moduled. Or cannot be productivity moduled, at least. And then I'm going to build... Here. So now the point is, you're putting sulfur out here, but you're not getting any of the carbon out here. So the carbon has to go on the other side. The reason why I'm doing it like this is the fact that this does not work. It has to be like that, right? Because now that comes in on the lower side and this one comes in on the top side. It's always right hand side in the direction of travel unless you're inserting in the inside of a corner. Oh right, it's not actually working. Yes. We'll do this. There. Good. So now it's looping around, and that should get this going. All right, and I can do this one. So you are going to make something. We definitely need a beacon for this. Here? Sure. And that will be 1 and 1. So how fast is this now? 0.8 sulfur, 0.8 sulfur. This one is making the coal, and this will make 0.5 coal, so that probably needs to be sped up as well. Here. And now we have a lot of things that need water, so this needs water, and this needs water, but then it also needs to connect. I'm going to use that for connection. And then these two are then the outputs that go into production. Look at this, how beautiful this is. Like that. Did anyone get what we were doing here? Because I barely did. And then, as we prepared earlier, this one goes in. So water goes in, and it makes all the explosives. So basically the water comes in supporting this. Here we get both sulfur and carbon, and it's actually in a perfect ratio here. So it'll go in. Some of the 1 coal plus 1 carbon becomes 1 sulfur plus 5 carbon becomes 1 coal. The coal gets put in here, and gets combined with the sulfur from here, which is at good ratio, and that gets us the ammunition over here. Now this is producing 0.8 if this one's a little bit faster, and 0.8, how much is this? This is using 0.3. So this one definitely also needs to be sped up here, so they can do, I suppose we can do something like this, because that also speeds up here. Good. And then I need to make something like this. Yeah. Does that work? No, I don't need this one, right? Yeah, okay, this is fine. This can reach all the way up. And outbound. No. Do I want outbound like this or outbound like this? I think this is better. So get it stacked up, get it up here. Now, we do need something inbound, and that is the iron coming in. So iron has to come in here. So iron comes in here. Okay, it's getting a little complicated. Now, I think I need to move this a little bit up, because I think I need to do this one, and you can go in here, and then also do that. Maybe this should even be stacked on this belt. Yes. Good, so we can see that a lot of stuff is being produced here. And now these two foundries are hit by beacons, so they're now producing 13. So I think that this one also has to be faster. So now it can consume 15. So this is as fast as it needs to be in order to keep up. We could put a module in here, but I don't really have a room for that. Okay, this is very good. I think I need something like this as well. That one and that one, because we do need to have ammo here. But so now the next question is, why is it not working? Why are you not getting any? Oh, you're not getting anything in. You're not getting that in because you're not getting here. This water is being consumed. Let's just get the... Oh, we just upgraded something we shouldn't have there. Okay, so now this one is working, and go, 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 go. You get 2 that go in, and now this can work for a few iterations. Should this one be... Nah, it will have plenty once we get the ball rolling here. Good. And now we're producing here, but we should also produce some iron out here. Yes, finally we're getting some iron inbound, and that also goes down here. And outputting, outputting, and this one is at 15, so now we get the first batch of outbound. All right, looking good. And the first turrets are actually, the first 2 turrets are actually filled up with that ammunition. Perfect. Okay, so we do have some space here left, a little bit of space, and that space is actually necessary. This is something we have on our medium freighter, I'm sure. This part, where are you? Like this part. Just kind of in a different shape. Here. Yeah, it doesn't quite work because it has to be rotated, and this has to be inbound, and this has to be a long-handed inserter inbound, and this has to go out like that. So there's a little bit of change here. here. And then we need kind of one more of this, which will get to the medium. We'll get that over. That's the last of this. Here, you're going to be turned. These two are going to go out. And that's actually not correct. It has to be... No, it's actually... It is like this. Because it has to go out and then be able to recycle it back in again. Yeah, these two. Flip it. Like that. No. Flip it like this. And then it kind of looks weird that it's... There we go. Alright, that works. So they will now go in here, but they need to have a common understanding of what is on the belt. That's here. And this one will now say if it's more than 120. If this one, I don't think 120 will be the right number. We'll figure that out. I think it's more like 300 or something. But it's now working. The front part of the ship is working. All we need is the method of controlling it, which is what we have here. Like, again, I'll explain it, but first we're going to be building it. There. Okay, so what this does is it highlights how much of everything I want, and in this case, I will also add one more, and that will be here. So this one should be at least 600 on the belt, and this one should be at least 500, maybe. We'll say 500. We want to build it up to 600, but we set 500 here. And these ones, I think it's going to be 150 for each. I don't know. We can adjust it later on when we figure out what it does, but we'll say 500. And that one I don't need. So this one goes in. And this one is then calculating it. It has to get inbound from the value of in here. Man. Okay, so if I do this one, can I then reach? I think I can. Yes. And then it goes in here. Right. So now it says we're missing this, we're missing this, we're missing this, we're missing this, because we're also not monitoring the belt. So if we started monitoring the belt, then we'd probably get something different as well. So let's monitor the belt as well here. There we go. So we're monitoring the belt. Now again, we're missing, and somehow we don't have any ammo on the belt. Oh, right, of course, because all the ammo on the belt has been put into rockets or into turrets already. So that's why there is nothing on the belt, and we want to continue working. So that's the top half. The idea of this is that it should be highlighting all these 4 things that should be positive, and when they're positive, it'll send all these. When all these are true, then it'll send a green signal. The green signal is our action to go. So that should also drag itself back in. We also do need to have this part here. This is also telling us what to pick up. So I need to take it from here and out into all these locations, which will be tricky, so that I can say set filter, and then it will set filter to what we need. Cool. Right, that's the front top half. We are going to have a little bit of a challenge here with this, but we have to do that later on. I guess from here I can just get it into, I mean, it has to go into some kind of intermediate here, like that. And you can go up here as well. There. And I don't know how to get to the other ones. Then I kind of want to just do here. And in here and into that one. And then there. So the whole top part is now fed from here with the indicator of what it should be doing. I will also get the outbound. If I feed out here, this will either be a green signal or nothing at all. So I don't have a problem feeding it back, because that gets the green signal back in here. And that means when the green signal is true, we can leave AQUILO. So let's start looking at the back section of the ship here. And this also needs to be extended a little bit. And we also need to get it into with the fuel in here as well. So what is it we want to do in the back section of the ship? We do also still have some issue with this signal here coming all the way down. I don't want to collect anything further back than this, because it doesn't matter all the way down here, so we don't need to collect it. It'll be fine for collection. So we're gonna take this one, and then can it reach all the way? No, it can reach like this, and that goes in. This one goes here, here, and here, and again set filter. Perfect. Unfortunately, I can't make this over here. I'd really love to, but there is no way. So this kind of space is a little lackluster or something. I'll just put in this and then pretend that that's fine. Good. What we need to build further down here is we need to figure out... I'll take this out for now. And then starting to work a little bit more intense. Right, so what we need to do is basically the same thing as we've done on one of the other ships, the medium freighter, like this thing here. This is pretty good, so I think we'll just kind of copy paste this. Actually, the whole thing looks pretty good. Can we just copy paste the whole thing? Let's try that and then get up here and see what it looks like if I copy paste it in here. It does not look awful. It does not look awful, that's for sure. This, damn it, this one doesn't need to be here. These two don't need to be here. These are the reshufflers, and we need those somewhere else. Good, let's take this out as well. Okay, I like it. The thing that I want to look at is I want to have here. Let's take it on the side. Here, here, and here. So inbound, up and down, and this one will be 6. That signal or that design is going to be the same here. There we go. Actually, let's do that with long-hand inserters. There. Right, because I do need to have a little bit of defense down here. I think that's important, necessary. So we'll build that out here-ish. Yeah. That one. And that one. Oops. So this is all working, I think. Is there anything wrong with this? Yeah, there's kind of... This water tank and this water tank should be the same water tank. So... I need to get this in here. And then I need to make sure this water tank actually matches up like that. There we go. So now there's a shared water tank, actually 2 shared water tanks, whatever, between the nuclear power and this. Is that a good idea? I'm not really sure. It's a good idea once, because I don't want to run out of this, but I'd rather run out of fuel. I don't know which one I'd actually rather want to run out of, so maybe I don't want to run out of any of them. Let's try to not do that. Down here, I'm just going to explain what all of this is. This setup is a pretty good setup, I would say, to build fuel here. I am using this combined here with speed and productivity or efficiency, because I just don't have a lot of power on the ship, so we need to conserve whatever we have. Right, and I also think we should have a little bit up here. Can I also get a few of these? We can always just put these in here. Like this. And we can just plaster these like everywhere. Like everywhere there's like a tile of emptiness, then we can squeeze it in. But I'm not really a big fan of that idea. Like, sure, we can put these in here, but it just kind of clutters up the view. So I'm kind of refraining from it. Alright, so this here is basically a counter, counts up to 100%. And then I say it's active 1% of the time. That's no, this is the counter. Then I'm saying these pumps are active 20% of the time. That's just how much thrust I'm putting into this. 20% of the time, it is putting fuel into the thrusters. Of course, it's putting it now because, yeah, it's not consuming anything. Let's see if there's anything else. Yes, these are fired up. We do need to bring the signal from down here. This water signal. Do I even not need the water signal? No, I don't need the water signal anymore. So I'm gonna bring the signal up here. That's gonna be that one. I could actually use it like this. There. So I'm bringing the water signal in, even though I don't really need it. If that's the case, then I might as well bring the water signal in as well. There we go. And then I guess I don't need this one. Do I? No. There. So it goes from here into that and up there and there. Right, so I think this ship is actually ready to go. It's going to take some small trips inside the normal network before we send it all the way out. And then we'll see how it works. We'll tweak the numbers we have here. And you can see that they are still positive numbers, but then when they reach 0, then it's ready to go. But we can send it out on a safe little journey. Let me check it, and then we'll send it off. Okay, we're going to send it on a little journey to Vulcanus and back again, because we just needed to go out and grab some stuff here. And then we're going to monitor if because we want to fill up the belt. Oh, there's something here that's not working. That's jumping. This one is jumping. This one is jumping the wrong way. Okay, so that's moving. Okay, good. That was definitely a problem. And up here, these are monitoring how much I have of each. And it still says, oh, we have 160 of these, so we're not going to grab any more. And we can see that they've been removed from the import here. Great. We'll just let it run a little bit and see if it fills up with fuel and ammo. First little caveat here that we have detected is that this ice might not even be needing more than here, because if we're producing a lot of ammo, while we're not really producing a lot of rockets because we're flying on the inner planets, then we will not need any water, and therefore the water that's produced here as part of this process will actually get stuck. And when that gets stuck, then it can't produce any calcite. So what I've done is I've set up a little thing here, which basically says if this is equal to or greater than 5 in here, then it'll just throw them out over here, because we don't have anything to use it for. I could be trying to connect this water to this water, because you can see this one does not have enough water and it would like to have more, and it's always consuming, but I can't really figure out how to get it down here in a smooth way. So this could maybe just, no, it couldn't, because they don't infringe on some of the other things. So I'm just going to keeping it as separate things, and then maybe we'll throw out an ice cube once in a while. I don't care. That's just the way it is. So we'll let it run for a little bit more. Where is the ship? Has it? It has reached Nilaus again. We'll send it out for one more little journey on the inner planets. So the ship has taken a few trips and it's filling up. Also, this one had the wrong signal, but now it has. So basically what I'm doing is I'm saying this signal here is monitoring against 500. So 500 is the condition where we are allowing it to go when there's 500 on the belt, because there will also be something inside of the actual turrets. But these here are filling up to 800, which is 200 stacks. So 200 stacks per 200 stacks, that should be 400 items on the belt, item slots on the belt. And correspondingly, I have 150, 150, 150, and that's also corrected in here. Also put little lamps so we can see which one is active. Currently, it's in need of everything because, well, it's been converting all of it into ammunition. So what we see here is that it really wants to go. We can see that it has green signal here. That means the launch condition is go. We have thruster fuel, we have thruster oxidizer, we have enough rockets, and we have enough firearms. So we should try to let this ship actually go out. So let's take a look at the scheduling. So what I'm doing here is actually, let me pause thrust and take that out. This is how I want to make it. It basically has one stop, and that's AQUILO. It will be, has to be stopped at AQUILO, and it has to be green signal. When it is on that condition, then it will check the interrupt. The interrupt here will be going back to all the locations, Fulgora, Navis, Vulcanus, Gleba, and then end. Each of these locations, it'll go out until it's satisfied and there's a launch condition, or until it has waited 60 seconds and there's a launch condition. So that's how it works. I made this a little bit different from what I do with the inner planets, where it's only moving to the place that needs it. Here, because of the travel distances, let's find it. That's here. The travel distance is here. The majority of the travel distance is actually this 30,000 plus this 30,000. So if I was to go from AQUILO and to Fulgora and back again, that would be 60,000 trip. But if I go to Fulgora and also take the other places, then it's actually 30 plus 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus the 30 back. So it's actually adding 45,000 kilometers to the trip, which means one planet can be serviced with 60,000. All planets can be serviced with 105,000 kilometers. So for me, it's less than double to get 4 times as many planets there. So that means every time we leave AQUILO, let's go to all of it. Also, because the way it works is that when I'm leaving something here, it will leave when this is empty. But even though stone, for example, is empty, then it will leave. I might also have the refined concrete not being fully empty, but a little bit empty. And also maybe some of the foundries have been used, and some of the green circuits have definitely been used, and some concrete. Which means that if I leave AQUILO to go to the inner planets, might as well top up on everything else while we're coming back. That means that it makes fewer trips, but it makes bigger trips. It fewer ones, but they go to all planets. And this is represented by using this one, any request 0. So if any request going into AQUILO is 0, then it will go back to all the inner planets. You can do it another way where you have multiple requests where it goes to the one that is needed. But I really think that this one is advantageous. Otherwise, it will go to Fulgora, pick up some... What are we picking up in Fulgora? Pick up some blue sticks, then come back and then realize, oh, I actually need also some blue circuits. All right. Let's go to Volcanus to get some blue circuits. Oh, we also need some fuel. Let's go to Clever. And there'll be too many times back and forth the 60,000 kilometers. So that's why I chose to do it this way. Now let's just activate it, and then it will start heading out. And then we'll see if it works. The next thing that we could do after this would be upgrading with higher quality materials, because we can see once this one gets going, the ammunition and the rockets are not really filling up. They're not fast enough, and therefore it will have to wait at each of the locations. Of course, the rockets will only be relevant to and from AQUILO, but the ammunition will be relevant everywhere. So getting better ammunition, better turrets, then I would say these ones would be good candidates, and then maybe not all of these, but at least the middle ones could be better candidates for upgrading. I would definitely upgrade stuff like this part here, because this one upgraded goes from 1.5 to 2.0. So already like that would be a massive difference. Also beacons are very important to upgrade, so definitely let's get those. Now we're heading out into the area where we start seeing a little bit bigger asteroids. So let's see when we get the first big asteroids and make sure that the rockets actually shoot. First of all, you can also see that it's not really a lot of not a lot of business here. Shoot! 3 shots and some shots out there. The reason why I only want to upgrade the middle ones is because the outer ones, if they get longer range, then they start shooting this one, for example, which is irrelevant. And the same with rockets, like that one is irrelevant to shoot. So if I had a higher quality here, like that, it would start shooting, for example, this one, which is completely irrelevant to shoot. It will also shoot something up front. So basically having the middle ones upgraded means that they won't reach further to the side, but will reach further forward, which means they will be shot further advanced. Which, yeah, it doesn't save anything, but it just makes it feel a little bit safer. You could easily see 3 shots, not a problem to get that. And we'd want to upgrade the ammunition here so that we get explosives, so that they only need 3 rockets instead of 4 rockets. Oh no, 2 rockets instead of 3, which is, yeah, I can't remember if it's like 11, 12 upgrades that you need. So there you go, and let's go back here and then see we're almost reaching AQUILO. So once we reach AQUILO, we can try doing an upgrade and seeing. We can also see this is flying at 300 kilometers, and yeah, it's a pretty good speed. I like 300 kilometers for this kind of ship. One thing that to keep in mind is that I am dropping uranium off on there. that should be important. I want to drop this, the depleted uranium, I want to drop that off not on AQUILO, but actually on Nilaus, because that's where it gets reprocessed. This is why I'm setting this one up as 0 up here. So now it's just sending here, and it'll trigger when one of these is not true, and of course these are all disabled, so they're not really active yet. This is my setup for what I want for AQUILO, but that will be in the next episode as we get started on AQUILO. But I've just kind of set up some of the basic materials from the different planets, and as we check these things here, we'll see that hopefully it'll trigger, and then it will trigger these outbound here. But let's actually go back to this and then upgrade the ship to higher quality first, and then have a look at what it would look like when it's a higher quality. So now this ship is updated with some rare components. Not everything is rare, but the things that make a big difference. Apparently it also decided to fly out itself. The rare components here are the asteroid collectors, that makes a lot of sense, and also the middle turrets here and the middle turrets here. I've upgraded here. Also they have gotten some extra good speed modules, because now they need to contribute. Previously it was consuming 15 per second, now it's consuming 33 per second, and these are producing at 15, but they were previously producing at 6.75. So it's more than doubling by just getting better beacons and better modules and beacons. I've not updated every single beacon here because I don't think, or everything in module, because I don't think it's worth it to waste a lot of expensive modules out here. So I think just getting those, the key parts, that would be the beacons and the modules in the beacons, that makes a huge difference for this. Down here I've upgraded the nuclear power plant, which I think is a little bit naive, because I'm not sure we really want to have try to farm for rare quality nuclear power plants. But even if we don't have it, if we look at our power, we are producing 68 or 64 from the power here. But even if it was only 40 plus the rare solar panels, then it would be totally fine. So that's not really going to be an issue here with the power, so don't need this. I have upgraded here. What I've done down here is I've upgraded the beacons, and because I've upgraded the beacons now, then I can also change to having productivity modules instead of efficiency modules down here. And I think that makes a big difference. Also, productivity modules in these, which means we lower our consumption a lot, and we also increase our production, which then also means that now we could fly a little bit faster. We could potentially set this up to maybe just fire at 50% here, and this one also at 50%. So now it's like active 50% at a time, and then we should see that the thrusters can go a little bit faster. If you want to go a little bit better, then we would of course also increase the thrusters there, and that's another thing that would be very advantageous. And you can see now we're getting up to 400. The question is then, can we keep up? So going from basically flying at 400 speed or 300 speed to 400 speed is basically what you get from having this, and shorter downtime on the individual planets. Nothing super spectacular, but I wanted to design a spaceship that worked without being reliant on higher quality items, because, well, you can get it going. So that is the spaceship, and that means we now have this spaceship ready for going out to AQUILO. We're going to have 2 of these spaceships, one to go out, one to go with stuff to AQUILO, and another one to go with stuff from AQUILO. But the one from AQUILO, we don't need that until we actually have something to produce on AQUILO to go to the other planets. So thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode. Remember, the patron supporters get access to the cool blueprints, but if you're not a patron supporter, well, we built everything on camera, so you can just copy, paste, and pause the video. So not missing out on anything there. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for supporting. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, take care and stay effective.